Max, let's go to the hotline and let's go way out west, bring in the new head coach of the El Paso Hanks Knights. We are joined by Coach Jason Blair. Coach, how are you?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing excellent. How are things in beautiful El Paso, Texas?
Really, really nice. Nice and sunny.
Well, good. Nothing to complain about then. Coach, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you on your new gig. You get the promotion from offensive coordinator to the big chair. I'm really interested in kind of your reaction to when you heard the news that you were going to get the job left vacant by Aaron Price, who went off to a college gig.
Super excited. My kids they graduated from Hanks. One of them is a junior right now, so it's great to keep this job in the family. So it was a time coming, but man, I was ecstatic when it happened.
You're a guy who has been around this program for a long, long time. Obviously, you're a familiar face around this program. It's not like they're bringing in some guy from out of state or something. The kids are used to you, but obviously, it's a change in title, it's a change in role. When you addressed your team now for the first time, what was your message to them?
Keep working hard. The last 2 years we've tried to establish a foundation here to turn this program around, and we've done a good job. We've laid the cement down. Now it's time to build the mansion, and that's what we're trying to do here.
What has the as far as the off season is concerned? We talk so much with coaches about this is when you're laying that foundation. Is there any sort of do you view any sort of changes to what you're going to do in the off season, or is it just kind of steady as she goes?
It's steady as she goes. We're in a really unique situation here at Hanks High School because we have a coach by the name of Kirk Davis. Kirk Davis was a strength and conditioning coach at the University of Texas El Paso for over 15 years, and now he's down here with us, and he's been with us the last 2 years. So, he's a mad scientist when it comes to that stuff, and I would venture to say, and probably put money on it, that nobody in the country has a D1 strength and conditioning coach working their off-season program. So, we're not going to get in and make huge changes. We just want to get more dedication, just like everybody else across the state. But that's really where our ship's sailing right now. We're on his shoulders, and we really facilitate what he says.
We're talking with Jason Blair, the new head coach of the Hanks Knights here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, we kind of view, because there's so many coaching changes, we kind of view them kind of as transactions, but it's important to remember, that these are job changes and major ones for families. You are a guy who has been a long-time assistant, 21 years. This is your first head coaching job. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to your family to be able to finally ascend to the big chair?
Oh, it's like I said, it's super exciting. It's sitting on the other side of the desk is different. Where you're running, a whole big program by yourself. I mean, I've been a head softball coach before. I've been a head soccer coach before, so I'm familiar with that stuff. My wife is actually a principal, so we see the administrative part of it. But everywhere I go, I have a mantra that says I want to leave it better than when I got here. And I've been around Hanks for so many years. It was just an honor to be able to come in and work with these kids and these families in this community. So it's just tremendous.
I want to talk a little bit about your 2018 Knights. You guys were a squad that finished the regular season 5-5, get into the playoffs, bounce in the first round to a good El Paso Andrus team. I'm really interested from your perspective. This has been a program that's on the rise, a program that's been building towards something. How would you assess your 2018 season overall?
It was great. We really exploded offensively with Michael Blanco. I mean, the guy's a leading receiver in the state. We had a sophomore quarterback that, ended up number 4 and out of all sophomores in total yards, was just a playmaker. A kid just lights out. We're in a really great situation offensively. We only lose 2 kids. We lose a center and a tight end that was a partial starter for us. So everybody else comes back. Offensively, it's going to be explosive. It's going to be exciting, just like we were last year. We had a lot of big plays, and our vertical passing game was just, it was lights out. Coach Price taught me a lot about that stuff. I'm an old line guy, so, I want to run the ball, and eat up the clock. But, he really brought a different aspect to my offensive style, and being able to sprinkle that stuff in with what we're doing. Offensively going to be really, really good. We've got to change some things we're doing defensively, of course. We want to get more physical. We want to get stronger. We constantly remind our kids it's the work that you're going to put in. It's going to pay off later on. And we took over this program. They were, if you remember, they were 0-20. I mean, they were not good. And for us to go 5-5 and say, hey, everyone's done great. As a coach, yes, you're happy to be in the playoffs. But, we got to get in. We got to win playoff games, and we got to change the mentality, and that's what we're working on right now.
It's kind of speaking from a broader perspective. When people think about El Paso high school football, it's been a while since El Paso's had a real statewide contender.
Yes,
getting deep. From your perspective, I'm interested as a guy who's been around El Paso high school football for a long, long time. What do you think it's going to take to get El Paso into a point where they're contending on a statewide level, and what do you think is kind of that secret mix?
We got to get buy-in from our community. Our parents got to understand about, keeping their kids and not shopping their kids around. That's kind of something that we're facing here in El Paso. We got over 30 high schools here, in a small city. So we get kind of diluted a little bit when kids start shopping around and see what high school they want to go to. So, we're getting into our elementaries, and that's where I started. We want to start building that community within our community. Get those things established, those young programs, from Pee Wee football to our middle school, and really get everything vertically aligned like they do in the smaller towns of the state of Texas, where those kids really all just want to go to that one high school, or that's their only choice. So, I'm a product of El Paso football. I graduated from Austin High School here. I've been here in El Paso. Got the opportunity to play in college when I played at UTEP, and it's seeing the mentality, and you listen to these other guys like my teammates where they came from Dallas and Houston. That's all they knew was that high school, and I think El Paso kind of misses the boat on that, and that's something that we're going to change here. At least, I can control our community, and that's what we're the aspect that we really got to look at there.
One more question for Jason Blair, the new head coach of the Hanks Knights. Coach, you mentioned that you're a born and bred El Paso guy. You've got you've been around this community a long time, and that includes your time in college as a star tight end for the Mighty Miners of UTEP. Got your college football reference page pulled up here. 43 catches, 507 yards, and 2 touchdowns in your career there for the pride of the WAC, the UTEP Miners. Coach, I want to ask you now. Could you still get out there and run a couple routes? Could you give us maybe a 9 route if we needed it? if push comes to shove.
If you give me a week, maybe I can get there.
Okay, give you a week on the 9 route. That's fine.
We try to stay in shape, but man, it's sometimes I tease my kids. Rounds of shape too. So
Well, we are sure excited to see your squad. He is Jason Blair, the new head coach of the El Paso Hanks Knights. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig. Best of luck this offseason and down the road.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
There he goes, Jason Blair, the new head coach, the El Paso Hanks Knights. That's a whack tight end. Yeah, 94-96.
Round is a shape too.
He ain't wrong. That's something to aspire to, honestly.
Buddy.
Something like that. But appreciate him. That's a Hanks program kind of on the rise, and he mentioned that the thing about dilution, and that's something that when I went out there, I was out there. Boy, I want to say in the 2014 summer edition, I went out to El Paso and I wrote a story. This was the year after, maybe it was 2015, the year after. Cantillo, thank you, made it to the semifinals. And I wanted to write a story about kind of the rise of El Paso high school football. What's it going to take to get them to the statewide consistent contention? And I heard that a lot. I heard that you hear, guys, there's just so many high schools out here. Sure. And it's like you can't get all, like, if there basically there were a number of people I talked to, some on the record, some off, that more or less said, look, if we put together an El Paso all-star team, like if we all just kind of came together and said, okay, this is the school that's going to be the football school, we'd be awesome. Like we'd be in the mix every single year. Yeah. But the bottom line is that there's just too much dilution, and there's because
it's the only city out there.
It is. Yeah, it's a big city, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of schools there that you think about it. It's something you don't think about, but like there's only one 6A district in El Paso. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's only one because it's a lot of 5As. And so they kind of kept it, and, from a educational perspective, that's obviously a positive thing in some ways. But, from a football perspective, you talk with coaches out there, they say, yeah, the bottom line is it's just hard to keep kids in the same school. But in any case, we're excited to see what the Hanks Knights do in 2019 with their new head coach, Jason Blair. Appreciate him chatting with us.